Simplifying fractions is not as difficult as you think. All you need is the fundamentals of adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing fractions. In this video, we'll be looking at simplification of fractions. And basically, we shall be considering addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of fractions. Now let's begin. Foremost, let us see adding fractions without whole numbers. As fractions that do not have whole numbers. Let's take an example. 1/2 plus 1/3. As simple as it is. In every fraction, the first step is to find the LCM of the denominators. The denominators here are 2 and 3. So the LCM of 2 and 3 is equal to 6. Okay? So the next step is to multiply each fraction by a value that will give you the denominator as 6. Now what will you multiply by 1/2? That will give you a denominator of 6. Simple. When you multiply 1, the numerator, by 3, you do same to the denominator. Also multiply the denominator by 3. So we're going to be having 1 times 3 and also 2 times 3. And that gives us 3/6. We also do the same to 1/3. So you multiply 1/3, the numerator, by 2 and the denominator by 2 as well. That gives us 2/6. So all you need to do now is to add the fractions. Now that they have a common denominator as 6, so it's as simple as adding the numerator 3 plus 2, which gives you 5, and just pick one denominator since they have a common denominator 6, and that is 6. So you can see that our fraction is 5/6. Simple as that. Now let's take another example where you have whole numbers as the fractions. Here we have 3 whole number 5/8 and 2 whole number 2/3. Let us add whole numbers and fractions parts separately. It will be easier. So we're going to add the whole numbers separately, which is 2 plus 3. These are the whole numbers. Plus, you also add the fractional parts separately. So 3 plus 2 gives you 5, and the fractional part is this. You also look for the LCM, which is 24. The LCM is 24, and the next step is to take the fractions to a common denominator. So the first fraction here is 5 over 8. All you need to do is to multiply by 3, the numerator and the denominator, and also the 2 over 3 here, you also multiply by 8, numerator by 8 and denominator by 8. So the fractions become 15 over 24 and 16 over 24. You can see that they now have a common denominator. So the essence is to make them have a common denominator so that you can easily add the numerators. So we have 5 plus 31 over 24. As easy as that. 24 into 31 is one whole number, 7 over 24. So you add that one to the 5, you have 6 whole number, 7 over 24 as the simplest form. I guess that was simple. Let's take another example where the fractions have different denominators. That is subtraction of unlike fractions. We call them unlike fractions because they have different denominators. So the question is, subtract 3 over 8 from 5 over 12. In words, is as writing it as 5 over 12 minus 3 over 8. As simple as that, as you can see. So like I said, the first step to subtract or add any fractions is to find the LCM. So the LCM of 8 and 12 is 24. You can see. So the next step is to multiply each fraction by a value that will give us the denominator as 24. So multiplying 3 over 8 by a value which is 3, multiply the numerator by 3 and the denominator by 3 gives you 9 over 24. So the first fraction is 9 over 24 already. Then you do same to 5 over 12. So what is the number you multiply the fraction by to make the denominator 24? Can you think? Alright, that is 2. So 5 over 12, multiply the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2, leaves the denominator as 24, which is the LCM. So the two fractions now have a common denominator. So you've gotten that. What you need to do is to subtract the numerators. As you can see, 10 minus 9, and pick one of the denominators. Since they are the same, pick one, and that is 24. So 10 minus 9 is 1 over 24, which is the basic form. As simple as that. I'm sure you got that. Now let's look at another example, which is multiplication of fractions. For example, you have one whole number, 3 over 4, times 2 whole number, 1 over 2. Now when you have mixed fractions to multiply, first step, you convert to improper fraction. Each fraction should be converted to improper fraction. How do you do that? 1 times 4 is 4. plus 3, and that is 7 over 4. Then 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5 over 2. Now since you cannot cancel out, multiply the numerator and the denominator separately. So 7 times 5, 35, and 4 times 2 is 8. So finally you leave your answer in the basic form, that is 8 into 35, you count, gives you 4, remaining 3 over the 8. So our answer is 4 whole number 3 over 8. That's the simplest form. I guess that was easy. Now let's see division of fractions. How do you divide fractions? How do you divide fractions? Let's take an example. Now there are 4 steps of dividing fractions. 4 simple steps of dividing fractions. Now let's see these fractions. 25 whole number 1 over 2 divided by 4 whole number 1 over 4. First step, change each fraction to an improper fraction, especially when you have mixed numbers or mixed fractions. You convert each to improper fraction. That is 2 times 25 is 50, plus 1 is 51 over 2. Then 4 times 4 is 16, plus 1 is 17 over 4. Now what is the next step? You take the reciprocal of the divisor. Reciprocal of the divisor. Now this is the divisor. That is the one after the first fraction, or the ones after the first fraction are the divisor. So we have one divisor here, which is 4 number 1 over 4. Okay, we take the reciprocal. That is, the fraction becomes 51 over 2 divided by 17 over 4, which gives you 51 over 2 divided by 4 over 17. All you need to do is to take the reciprocal of the divisor. The divisor here is 17 over 4. Hope that was clear. Now the next step, which is step 3, is to change to multiplication and multiply. That is, the division sign will no longer be there. You change to multiplication because you have taken the reciprocal of the divisor. It's very important to do that. So the fraction becomes 51 over 2 times 4 over 17. So 51 times 4 is 204, and 2 times 17 is 34. So we have 204 over 34. Final step, you simplify the fraction. To simplify the fraction means to put it in a basic form, like dividing. So 2 into 204 is 102 over 2 into 34 is 17. So 17 dividing 102 is 6. As simple as that. I guess that was simple enough. Thanks for watching this video. See you again. Bye-bye.